My name is Fiona and I live in the Scottish Borders and I work for the local public protection unit.
Perfect. So thank you so much for taking your time today, Fiona. Can you take us back and tell us what was your drinking like before you joined the program?
Before I joined the programme, my drinking had become so incredibly entrenched, having probably started drinking from the time of about 18. Now, at the age of 52, it had gotten to the point where I was drinking every night. I was hiding how much I was drinking. I was drinking alone and I was in absolute denial because um, I think of myself as a relatively intelligent individual who understands and has knowledge around alcohol. And yet, as much as I wanted to, I was never able to manage it like other people seem to. And it had got to the point where I actually actively was disliking myself so very, very, very much. And I knew that at the heart of that was alcohol.
Thanks for sharing that. And how is it impacting you apart from the disliking yourself, like physical health, mental health, relationships?
I would say it was affecting negatively every aspect of my life, from physical, mental, psychological, very much with relationships.
Yeah.
Having a very supportive, loving husband who was my drinking partner, and him and I having moments whereby I could not hide it from him, and he would share with me the absolute truths of me and my relationship with alcohol, and yet for all the reasons I knew I wanted to stop, I just couldn't. It just seemed to have an absolute hold on me. And I was joining apps and looking into different things all the time around stopping alcohol. And I'd feel really enthused and think, right, that's it. And this was Monday morning. And by Wednesday evening, probably at the latest, coming back from work, I just thought, well, this desire and want for a drink is so overwhelming and I deserve it. What's just one more? I can go back to not drinking tomorrow. And it was a pattern that had become, as I say, so entrenched that it was just, it's so incredibly depressing and as I say, affecting every aspect of every waking moment of my life.
Yeah, it's incredible. There's no aspect that alcohol doesn't touch.
Well,
Yeah.
I
And
totally
how,
agree.
sorry.
I totally agree. Absolutely. It's all consuming.
Yeah.
Or
And
for
how
me, yeah, it
long,
had gotten all consuming.
yeah. And how long had you been trying to stop drinking? Kind of in that
Years.
cycle of Monday morning,
Years.
years.
Years. And there would always be a reason, always an excuse. And it was so easy to just put off and
Mm,
procrastinate. But actually, what the crux of it really was that alcohol had control over me, but I didn't see it as that, and I just felt like a failure all the time. And then in order to almost make myself feel better for failing, I would reach out for more alcohol. So it was this awful self-perpetuating cycle of continual wanting and genuinely feeling desire to wanting to stop drinking alcohol in recognition of the damage it does to me. And
mm,
at the same time, that awful spiral whereby I ultimately ended up a few days later back at square one. And that
yeah.
was exhausting. That was hard work.
The mental energy it takes to drink and be stuck in that cycle is it's incredible. It really
Yes.
is. Yeah. And how did you find out about the alcohol-free program?
Well, I just love looking on the internet and YouTube and researching, and I was always looking for a quick fix.
Of
And
course.
and as we all know, there's lots of people out there who have things to say about alcohol and sobriety and becoming alcohol free or managing your alcohol. There's so much out there,
Mm,
and I would listen to a lot of different people, and depending on how they came across and what they were saying and their experiences, I did have curiosity. So I did look into a lot of different people and listen to a lot of people's stories and what they were advocating in terms of, there's some out there who talk about being able to manage your alcohol use, and then others who are very clear about this is the impact that alcohol has on you and advocate becoming alcohol free. And um, I think for me, initially in joining some of these communities, albeit that I would always remain anonymous because I
Yeah.
never wanted to absolutely admit and be honest with myself and truly partake in what it means to be true and to find your truth with alcohol. So I
Yeah.
would be part of these communities anonymously and be so appreciative of other people sharing their journeys, their experiences, their ups, their downs. But at the same time, it meant that I was never truly accountable.
Mm.
And you were always brought back to day zero for people, just how awful it was. And then you could see people later down the line, but it never it never resonated with myself because I wasn't fully investing and really acknowledging what it truly means to address alcohol use and to truly become free of alcohol. So I was dipping my toe in. And it wasn't until I came across yourself and the Alcohol Free Freedom program that actually I felt for the first time, I recognized from what you were saying that I really needed to acknowledge that I needed some support with this. And I needed somebody to speak to me, to Fiona, to find out specifically what was going on for me and my experience and my history and my relationship with alcohol,
Yeah.
to actually meaningfully unpick that, to do the work that's needed in order to become truly alcohol free.
Yeah. That's great because alcohol is such an individual struggle. And yeah, we can read a book and yeah, there might be some useful takes, but we need to apply it directly to your situation, which
Yeah.
is quite unique, right? And everyone's got a unique story and situation. So yeah,
Yes,
that's great.
absolutely.
Did you have any hesitations? So once you found out about the program, you're like, oh, this kind of sounds okay. Did you have any hesitations or any fears coming up stopping you?
At the beginning, I suppose I kept in my thought processes that this wasn't necessarily going to be the absolute end. I was wanting to work through to better understand relationships and what alcohol truly means for me and what it means for me to be alcohol free. But I think at the same time, at that actual point in time, I wasn't truly 100% committed, but I was sufficiently curious and interested. I did recognize there was a cost involved, and I had to think about that in terms of investment for myself and in myself for my own self-worth. And interestingly, a lot of the apps allow you to calculate how much you save when you're not drinking. So that one was quickly blown out the water because I recognized actually the money I spend on alcohol, in terms of the investment for truly committing to a program that I felt resonated with me and made perfect sense, that actually was the way forward, alongside the fact that I recognized I truly needed somebody to be with me at my side during this, that I
Mhm.
couldn't just be good old Fiona and do it by myself as I've tried so many times before. So I think acknowledging that I needed support, I needed to access support, and the fact that I needed to really invest in myself in order to achieve this were the
Yeah.
things that really sort of were fearful of, because it's a big ask, especially for somebody who's been drinking for the last 30 years. But I did feel ready, but it was scary, it was frightening, it is the unknown, and my fallback and my safety net has always been alcohol. But at the same time, the overwhelming desire to actually make real, true change superseded all of those things.
That's incredible. And so now we're at, yeah. So you went from the daily drinking. Where are you now with alcohol?
I'm over 100 days alcohol free. Just, it's amazing.
Like it's 102 days now, right? It's
Yeah.
100 on Sunday. It's incredible. How are you feeling? Like, what are the biggest changes that you've noticed?
I feel absolutely liberated. And I feel for the first time in my adult life, I am truly myself. And I'm beginning to know myself over these past 100 days and continue to learn about myself in a way that actually I quite like myself.
Surprise. Fiona's a really cool person.
And the fact is that alcohol is so unimportant now. It's so not there at all in
Yeah,
a way that it makes me reflect on where I was. And I was a slave to alcohol. I had it's as if
yeah,
it had complete control over me. And now it feels and it has no control over me whatsoever. So it's truly liberating.
that's incredible. What have your family and friends said? Have they noticed a difference? Have you been open with them about your journey?
So I've been quite selective because of just alcohol has been problematic for me, and that has involved family and friends at different times. So my rock has been my husband, and he's been fully supportive and aware of throughout, as has my sister. In terms of other family members, went on holiday with my mum, and before the holiday, because it was an all-inclusive, which included the alcohol package as well, because we'd booked it prior to me coming on this program, that I did say to her, "Look, Mum, I think I'm not going to be drinking over the holiday, because I think I'd like to give an opportunity to just not be drinking and see where it takes me." And it took no more than that. I didn't have to do any additional explanation. And actually, she was really quite pleasantly surprised by what I'd shared. And her decision subsequently, nothing to do with me whatsoever, but she chose not to drink during the holiday as well. And she commented on how much better she had felt for not drinking. Um, and with other family and friends who have always been my go-to drinking buddies, I've just started to share with them, oh, I haven't been drinking for some time and I actually feel really, really good and I'm not missing alcohol at all. So with certain people, I have shared it, but with
Yeah,
others, I'm just as I feel more confident and comfortable, I just drip it into a conversation. So at the point whereby if it does come up or when it does come up, that do you want to drink? What do you want to drink? It won't be actually a surprise to them, and I don't
yeah,
feel compelled to have to justify or explain myself in any way.
it's incredible. Did you ever think you'd get to the point where alcohol's just not important in your life?
No, no, I genuinely didn't. So that's why it's just so incredibly amazing to be sat here talking to you and being able to say that I honestly, day to day now, alcohol does not enter into my thought processes whatsoever.
Love that. How confident are you in the next 100 days, 200 days for the foreseeable future on staying alcohol free?
100%. Don't get me wrong, I think 100 days is just over 3 months.
Hmm.
And there's Christmas coming up, there's birthdays
Hmm.
coming up, there's anniversaries coming up. And up until now, they've always been strongly associated with alcohol. So I think I feel completely confident, but I will experience Christmas and birthdays differently. So I'm just very mindful of being very aware of that. But in terms of do I feel as if I have the right tools and strategy and understanding and knowledge and confidence? 100% yes.
Perfect. Amazing. And as we always say, it's confident, but not cocky, right? First Christmas, yeah, it might be a bit, it's going to be different,
Yeah,
right? But let's see what that's like without the booze. You'll
yeah,
love it, I'm sure. And then it's
yeah.
just step by step, really gaining that confidence as time goes on.
The other thing for me is that I have actually dropped quite a bit of weight,
Yeah.
because unsurprisingly, when I was drinking, I was getting the munchies, and that then just spirals into something else in terms of food. So being completely sober, I'm making better food choices. So there's just honestly so many benefits. I can't think of any drawbacks whatsoever, other than it's a bit like changing cars, and it just takes a bit of
Mm,
time getting used to where some of the indicators and the steering,
Yeah.
that's all it is. That's all it is.
It's going from a manual to an automatic. So much freaking easier, but just takes a little bit. You sometimes you go to the gear stick and it's not there.
Yeah,
Okay. Yeah, that's incredible. Amazing. If somebody's watching this who was in your situation 100 days ago,
yeah.
what would you say to them?
Yeah, I would say to them, if you have that feeling that you know as best as you've tried that you're not winning with your relationship with alcohol, that there is no right time to be doing this. But if you find somebody that you hear about, listen to, or watch that really resonates with you, please, please, please progress that in a phone call and a further discussion, because actually, by just being open and honest with somebody who truly wants to support you in what you want to achieve with alcohol is the best thing you could ever do. That's the best thing I ever did, was actually book a call with yourself, because as much as I'd listened to you and heard you and understood what you said, I needed to have that conversation with you for me to be able to share personally about where I'm at with my alcohol, but to hear you as well in terms of building up a rapport and understanding of what it is that we could offer one another. And that, I have to say, is the best thing I ever did, was to book a call and have that discussion with yourself and be absolutely clear that this is the right thing for me to do. As scary as it is or was, I was up for it, and I'm so glad I did.
Yeah, me too.
Honestly,
Woohoo!
I genuinely are just over them. I'm so proud of myself. It's one of the
You
best
should be.
achievements ever.
Yeah,
And I haven't lost a thing. I have only gained. It has only ever been beneficial right from day one. And I think knowing somebody like yourself with this program, knowing that I could contact you whenever I needed to, that we had regular check-ins, that I could just anything at all, and I knew that you were there and you were behind me 100%. It makes all the difference.
amazing. I'm so glad. And I'm so proud of you as well. You've done insane. Incredible. Amazing. Is there anything else you want to share about your journey before we wrap up?
Um, there are challenges. There are challenges. It's not smooth sailing, but it's only to do with your thought processes. And actually, you've got to be committed. You've got to do all the work because the material is all there and it's so accessible. Um, but especially at the beginning, there are some challenges because it takes a while for you to rewire yourself. But keep going, and use all the support because it does truly make all the difference.
Amazing. Thank you so much for sharing your story, Fiona.
My pleasure.
Amazing.